Hello, everyone. My name is KarSona, and we're back with another Pierce the Veil album review from a very popular demand. Like, it was an outcry, i.e., one comment. I thought I would do A Flair For Dramatic. That's their first album, so not much to say other than let's just get into this, I suppose. Same as before, I'm going to be listening to each song before ranking them, so there's no bias, there's no preference, no prejudice against a certain song. To preface this, this is actually the second time I've listened to this full album. I've only listened to it one time. If I were to listen to this album, I kind of just picked out the songs that I liked. I didn't really ever listen to the full thing, so this is kind of going to be a kind of a blind review almost. But we're going to try, and let's get into this with the first song. The first song, Chemical Kids and Mechanical Brides, it's iconic. It really is. It just like captures that emo vibe of that era, that early 2000s era. It's definitely probably one of the best songs in the album, if not the best. Second best in my opinion, but it definitely goes in S tier because it's just a song of a generation, really. There's no better way to describe it. It's just the lyrics are great, the vocals are great, everything about it is just great. Like, a sign of a really good song is I don't really have much to say about it, and that's just how good. Currents Conclusive. This one is a pretty interesting one. It's quite different from a lot of their other music. It's kind of got that like opera-y thing in the middle. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like the snapping. It really brings a different vibe to it. It just has a really different vibe from the rest of the music, and that's kind of how this album is, because you can definitely tell they were kind of figuring out what their genre was at this moment, and this is just very good, very different. If you remember from my first one, I like ones that are a little different but still have the same vibe. So this one gets an A tier. Earlier I said Chemical Kids and Mechanical Brides was the second best. This is the best. Yeah Boy and Dollface. This is easily the best song in the album, in my opinion anyway. It's perfect. It's perfect. I don't want any fights about that. It's perfect. I love This is the closest to like Selfish Machines you'll probably get in this album, and maybe that's just why I like it. But it is just so good. I love how slow, a little bit more slow it is, but as it goes on, it ramps up. Like with the screaming at the end, it's just really good. That's why S tier. Next up, we have I'd Rather Die Than Be Famous, which is ironic, I suppose. um, it's pretty good. It has a very different feel from like a lot of their other songs. It's very screamo, and I'm not too big of a fan of screamo. It has to be done in moderation. It's good. It's definitely good, but it's not as good as these three. Uh, I remember the middle part of this album not being the best, at least not in my opinion. So a lot of them might be going in B like this. The Cheap Bouquet. This one, once again, it's pretty similar to I'd Rather Die Than Be Famous. Really, it's almost kind of painfully similar. I remember the first time I listened to the album, I was like, did the song change? um, I like the outro though, the kind of like in the piano at the end. I like that. But the whole song itself is just very similar to I'd Rather Die Than Be Famous. It just doesn't stand on its own. That's why I think it's best to just go right next to it. Okay, this one's a little different. I like this one. Falling Asleep on a Stranger. Uh, it's different from I'd Rather Die Than Be Famous and The Cheap Bouquet. It's not as screamo. It still just kind of sounds like all their other songs in this album, which is a main problem I have with this album. That all the songs are a little samey, and I know that you can't have unique songs every single time, but I don't know. This album just doesn't do it for me a lot of the times. But this one is one that I could go out of my way and listen to, so that's why I'm gonna put an A tier with current Next we have She Sings Like the Morning. Uh, she sings in the morning. Excuse me. This one is just a mix of I'd Rather Die Than Be Famous and Falling Asleep on a Stranger. They are very similar. All these songs just kind of meld together somewhat, which is definitely because I'm listening to them all back to back, than recording these takes in between. But just none of these really stick out to me. Like they just don't. That's why this is just gonna go in B tier. It's not that I dislike the songs that I put in B tier. They're good songs. They just don't stick out to me as anything noteworthy. Here we go. Now this is different. Thank God. I really love the piano, the more somber tone of the song. I'm tempted to put it in S tier because we don't have anything there, but I'm just going to put it in A tier for now. Maybe it'll go up there. Maybe some of this will go down later. I'm not quite sure at the moment, but thank God this is different. Thank God. Next we have Drella. This is really good. This is going to go in S tier. This is one of the better songs in the album. I definitely don't think it's as good as Yeah Boy and Dollface or Chemical Kids, but it's definitely better than these ones in A, so that's why I'm going to put it in S tier. Oh no, if you couldn't figure out that's why it's in S tier, then there you go, I just explained it to you. But yeah, it's very good. The lyrics are quite good. It's just all around a very good song, especially compared to the rest of the album. It really stands out. Okay, now we got Diamonds and Why Men Buy Them. This one's kind of a regression in terms of whatever. It just sounds like the other songs, which, like I said, I'm not blaming on the band. It's definitely the way I'm listening to all these songs, kind of, because I'm just listening to them back to back. But it just doesn't stick out. Like I said, for the other songs in A tier, they're better than these ones, but it's just nothing special. That's why I'll put it in A tier. But when I reorder things, I bet there's going to be a lot of reordering because some of these might go down, some of these might go up, might go down too. I have no idea. But for right now, I don't really. It's going in A tier. Here we go. We finally made it to the last song, Wonderless, and this one is great. It's a masterpiece. It's actually really, really good. I forgot how good it was. I hadn't listened to it in a while. It's quite long for a song. It's 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes. But it's really good. It really goes through the motions, and I just really love how somber and slow it is, but kind of picks up. It's really good. It's really good. Now let's go into the reordering here. I'm definitely gonna put these two down here, and this down there, this down there, and this down there as well, I think. And I'm gonna put Drella down to A. I think that looks pretty good for reordering. But yeah, I think that's going to be the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed. I know some of these opinions might not be your own. They're mine, and you can't change them because this video is going to be up forever. But yeah, you can go into the comments section and fight about it. I don't care. But yeah, see you later. Absolute dubbin'.